How's it going, guys? Hope you're all doing well. I'm Isaiah Huang, and in today's video I'm going to do part 1 of how to create a logo, and that is the design brief. So the design brief is a document that I send my clients when I have the first interaction with them, when they're interested in doing a logo job with me. So I send this off to them so that they can fill it out, and then I can get an idea of what kind of logo they want and what kind of expectations that they have. So I'm going to take you on a basic breakdown of the design brief that I send out to my clients, and then that way you can see what kind of questions I ask so that I can do a really good job to create the logo that they have in mind. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to go through the questions on this design brief, and we're going to use a logo that I'm actually working on right now. So the name of the logo that I'm going to be working on is for a company called Upland Lawnmower. Okay, so the first question I have to ask whenever I'm creating a logo is, what is the name, the exact spelling of the name of the logo? So we're doing a logo for Upland Mower, okay? And then, are there any taglines? So for this company, they do not have any taglines, so I can skip that. But some companies, they do have taglines. So if you're doing a logo, let's say for like Nike, and their tagline is "Just Do It," then you have to incorporate the tagline within their logo. So the next question is corporate profile. What is the summary of business? So what Upland Lawnmower does is they are a distributor of lawnmower equipment. So you can do lawnmower distributor, and they also sell and repair landscaping equipment. So sales and repair of landscaping equipment. So their basic profile is they're a lawnmower distributor, and they do sales and repair of landscaping equipment. And then you have to figure out, all right, who are their competitors and where do they sit in the competition. So I think this company is a relatively small company. So I looked at other companies that were in Upland and nearby areas that offered this service of sales and repairs for landscaping equipment. And the reason that I asked this is I want to figure out what kind of logos that the other companies are using. So unfortunately for this company, the other companies, they don't really have logos either. So this is kind of an open question. So I have to kind of figure out a way for this logo to stand out among the competitors. But if you were, let's say, doing a logo and you're asking like Nike, hey, who are your competitors? Then you could write, Adidas, you can write Reebok, you can write New Balance. Those are the companies that they're competing with. And then the next question is, are there any specific colors and numbers of colors that you'd like to use? So what they said was 1 to 2 colors, and then obviously green is one of them. They didn't really have any colors that wanted me to avoid, but I'm sure they don't want me to use like pink and gold or some colors that really don't fit in the landscaping kind of field. So I'd probably stick to maybe green, browns, and maybe black. And then the next question is, all right, what are the do's and don'ts? Are there things that you really want me to do, or are there things that you want me to avoid in this logo? They kind of gave me a free rein, so I think they wanted a lawnmower icon or some kind of graphic in the logo, so kind of have to keep that in mind. But everything else they said, they were pretty open. The next question is, what type of feel, style, or look does the logo need to convey? So this is basically, when you see the logo, how does it feel? When you're looking at it, like what kind of emotions do you want it to convey? So they wanted something that was simple, clean, and modern. And then, what message do you want the logo to convey? So they wanted it to convey trust, simple, dependable, and clean. So these are the things that they want the logo to feel, right? So for the target audience, who do you want to reach? You got to figure out, like, what age range do you want it to reach, what gender, sometimes you got to figure out, how much money that they're earning, or what type of employment, or what their lifestyle is, those kinds of questions. So for this logo, they want it for people that, lawnmower owners, and people that are in the landscaping industry. And it's mostly men, but I'm sure they're open to, more friendly, design for women too, but these are kind of the target that they're trying to hit. So the keyword impressions are the impressions that you want the logo to convey. So trust, you want them to be dependable, affordable, and clean. And then examples of good design. So it's nice to ask if they have a preference of what is a good design in their minds and what is a bad design in their mind. So that way you can kind of, stick to certain things that they like and avoid things that they don't like. So they said they like, Apple, Nike, like Facebook. They like the very clean fonts, text, and they like clean shapes and lines. Bad designs, they didn't really have any ideas, but if you think about something that's really complex, like even the first Apple logo, it was really complex. It had like a guy sitting under a tree, and then there was an apple, and it was like just so much going on, and it's probably something that they don't like, right? And then to ask what the logo usage will be. So is the logo just going to be used on websites? Is it going to be used for printing? Is it going to be used to, print on 1 million shoes every year? You got to figure out what they're going to be using it on. So this logo is going to be used for some signs, some banners, future website, and other print marketing material. So they're going to probably do brochures, business cards, and things like that. So, and then you have to ask what their budget is and what their schedule is. So this is a really important question to ask, because a lot of times when somebody wants to do a logo job with me, but then they say my budget is $100, that's pretty far off from what I normally charge. So if I were to hear that from someone and they said, hey, I want to do a logo job with you, but I only have a budget of 100, then that job is probably a better fit for some other design agency or somebody else. It's just not a good fit for me. Or if their schedule is crazy, like, yeah, we want to pay you $10,000, but the logo needs to be done in 10 days or 5 days or 3 days, some crazy turnaround time, then it just makes it really, really tough. So this is a good way to kind of weed out people that are not a good fit for you when you're doing some work. But it's also a good way to see if they're actually a good client that would give you a job. Because if somebody says, I don't really have a budget, I'm not sure, and I don't know about the schedule, it could be 1 month, 2 months, 6 weeks, I'm not sure, that's kind of a red flag. So it's really good to get a clear idea of what their expectation is budget-wise and schedule-wise. So when I do a logo, I go through 4 stages. And so the first stage is this, what we're doing right now is the design brief. And then the second is researching and brainstorming and then sketching those ideas. And then once I get the ideas, then I'll actually put it into the computer and I'll create the logos in the computer, and that's called rendering and presentation. And then the final thing is I submit all those logo options, and then depending on how many rounds of edits we've agreed on, then I do changes and final touches, and then that's it. So the last thing is final thoughts. Did we miss anything? It's just kind of a way for me to cover, is there anything else that I missed that you want to add to the information that you want to give me for this logo job. So the good thing about this design brief is it helps you to focus on what is a good way to solve this problem of the logo that they want designed, what are their expectations, and how quickly and how much are they going to be charged, you know, do they want to pay for this design. So you have to kind of figure out what works for you, and then based on that you can, you know, charge accordingly. Okay, so that was part 1 of how to create a logo, and next week I'll have part 2, and that's where I'll actually go into the researching and the brainstorming and the sketching. So check back next week for that one. And if you're interested, I'll have a download link below so that you can download it and use it for yourself if you want on your next project. And until then, let your light shine.